Go ahead and lay all the way back when you're ready. I like to start and end here, so just take some good deep breaths into the body. Huge inhales. Long exhales. Let the breath continue to flow in this way. Long and deep. Our body is getting filled with all this breath. We take a moment to connect with an intention. I like to bring an intention to each class. So this week I had a fun situation that was almost like that quote that we have where if life gives you lemons, make lemonade, or you can become sour. And the situation that happened for me, I was playing with my kiddo at the park. We were having a blast, going down slides. It was really early morning just because it gets so hot right now. If it's any later. So we were just playing, having a blast. And the sprinklers came on. And the sprinklers, one of them is set to pretty much circle around the whole playground area, which is kind of funny. But it got to this point where it's like, okay, we can no longer play on the playground. So that was almost like a limit that life gave us. And so we could have become sour. We could have, been all grumpy and go home. And I wish we'd been able to play more. But in this situation, we turned it into lemonade, where we started to run through the sprinklers and around the sprinklers. And it kind of was just filled with so much joy that it was like the situation that's almost a new definition of happiness for me. That memory that's now stored in my head, like that, turning it into such a beautiful circumstance, that is almost a definition of happiness. And so, as we travel through the class today, sometimes there's been areas of our body we haven't tuned into very much. So as we stretch those areas, sometimes it's like a sour spot, a sour lemon. And so our goal is to just be with our body, breathe with it, and see if we can turn our emotions from that sour state into a joyful state as we transition through class. So with that intention to lead us on, let's begin. We'll take some nice stretches. Let the arms stretch all the way to the back wall. The whole core lengthening. Take a stretch like a banana. So the right hand grabs onto the left wrist, and then the shoulders start to scoot off to the right side of the mat. Our left ankle crosses over the right, and then the legs scoot off to the right. So creating this huge banana shape. Sometimes this is enough, just staying in this position. Kind of a general shape, stretches the body plenty. But sometimes we want to go a little deeper. So you're welcome to push against the ankle and wrist connections if you want a little more. So choose the intensity that's going to work for you today. And release this half, come back to the midline of the mat. Setting up the banana on the second side. So grab the right wrist, scoot the shoulders off to the left. And the right ankle over, legs scoot off to the left. Push against the ankle and wrist connections. Notice how even the breath can help to deepen the stretch on the fullest part of the breath. It invites those muscles of the side ribs to stretch just a little more. One more huge inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. And release. Return the spine to the middle. Slide the feet in close to the glutes, and we'll take a few bridge poses. So inhale, the tailbone, and lift up one vertebrae at a time. Exhale, lower one vertebrae at a time. few of those. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, roll down. 3, 2, 1. Right ankle crosses tightly over the left ankle, but let it go. Yep, got it. And then bringing the thighs in, grab onto each ankle that's that side. Good. So notice if you're naturally contracting around the hip joint area. If so, try to relax that area. At any point you don't feel the stretch as much as you want, use the grip strength to pull even closer. The arms spread out wide to each side, figure T. The crossed legs fall over to the left. Notice how the extra twist of the legs pulls the spine a little deeper for the twist. If it's too much, take a block under your knee. The hips start to return down, uncross the legs, take a happy baby. Let that left knee cross really tightly over, grab onto each ankle. Try to stay present with it. That's what gives us that ability to transform the energy from the sourness to maybe the sweetness of the lemonade. And start to spread the arms open, the legs fall over to the right this time. And as the hips return back down, this time straighten the legs up and open out to a wide figure of V. Place the hands anywhere from inner thighs to the toes, whatever works best. Facing with hands, you're going to grab one of our blocks. The block will be under our feet. I like the medium height, that's usually not too much, but the block under the feet, we're going to do a few more bridge poses with that extra height. So make sure that's in a spot that you can put some weight into it. Then when you're ready, same thing, hands by the hips, up, inhale, exhale down. Another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Scoot that block close again. We're going to place it under the sacrum. Small, medium, or tall height, it depends on what feels best for you. Tall can be really intense for some people, so only do that one if you feel like you can take a deep breath. So good, it's right under the sacrum. Right foot will start to scoot forward as far as it can on the mat. You'll feel how this helps the psoas pop forward in the hip flexor area. And it also stretches it at the same time. Deep breath right here. Slide the right foot closer and then do the same thing with left. Here you can either slide the right foot forward also at the deep back bend with that same psoas stretch, or if that's too much, walk the feet any amount closer back to that bridge position. Or inhale, long exhale, feet walk closer, and then lifting up off of the blocks, put the block away. I usually like to rock around on the sacrum for a few rounds after I do that, so you can either just take windshield wipers or take the knees into the chest and rock around that way, whatever feels best. Rise up to a seat. Bottoms of feet together. And the spine up to go forward. Up. We're going to let the weight of the head drop down so that can pull the muscles of the spine. Slide the left hand to the left knee. Push down on that knee as your head tilts over to the right. Release back forward and switch it out. So right hand pushes right knee, tilt the head to the left. And tilt back forward. Roll the spine up. Switch to an easy cross leg for a moment. Get your strap. Grip a bit wider than the shoulders. This is something we'll repeat a few times, so I like to introduce it here so that way your body kind of knows what to do. But we'll slowly rise up as you get to the tight spot. If you can't go any further, slide the grip wider so you can go all the way back. Good. And make your way all the way forward. If after a cycle or two, you feel like you can inch the hands closer, you're welcome to. Just depends on if the muscles have loosened up. So we're just taking 3 cycles total. All the way forward. One more. Set that close up to the top of the mat, so that way it's accessible as you need it. So hands and knees. Some cat cows at your own breath. Exhale, set. Exhale. And the cow, same belly down. Now approach a downward facing dog, trying to maintain the cow shape as long as possible. The toes, lift the hips, until the spine set up nice and tall. From here, start to feel through the legs. Right leg reaches high to the sky. Stack the hips, bend the knee behind your back. Toes are trying to touch the neighbor if you have one there. Unwind that. Step right foot to outside of right hand. The back knee could be lifted if you wish, or you can lower it. With the hands, you can stay on wrists or lower one or both elbows. You can use blocks if needed. Hands. Leg comes back. You can stay kneeling, take these, or maybe you're ready to lift up the knees with a little flow. Shoulders past the fingers towards Varanga. Any amount of a back bend, it's still early on. The child or down dog. So guys, up to downward facing dog. Left leg starts to float. Step the hips and the knee, toes behind the back. Step that foot to the outside of the left hand. That knee lifted or lowered, elbows down. Hands. sitting, kneeling or not, real slow. Bring to kneeling. If it's comfortable to sit on the feet, that's fine. Or if you need to come up to a high kneeling spot, that's fine. But grab a block. We'll warm up the shoulders a little bit. Push into the block. You'll notice the biceps popping out. The elbows are nice and wide, so push as hard as you can. Keep breathing. We'll slowly start to let that block lift some space above the head. If there's any shoulder injuries, you can also stop at the forehead base. Doing okay, go all the way high. And slowly lower all the way back down. Keep pushing. Try some more. And it goes up, stay at the high spot. And push a little harder if you have any more space for that. And come to the low spot, last one. Push even harder if you can. 3, 2, 1, release. Box goes up to the top, roll the wrists up for a moment. Downward facing dog. Step locker, jump up to the top of the mat. Lifting high enough that you can clasp hands back to your back. Let the knees be slightly bent as you bow back forward, let the arms pull backwards into that shoulder. Release the hands, soft into the knees, roll up. And so reclasp in front of us, look forward, and then the left hand pulls closer, the stretches back to the right foot. Switch it out, right, pulls closer. Good. Lift the wrist step around, the left hand pulls closer to stretch. Right. Circle the arms up to the side. Drop the right hand to the right side. Continue to slide that hand down side. Right. Switch it out. Side. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Exhale, fingertips back to the floor, just right. Stop. And here's grab onto the strap. Lower that back knee. Keep the hips pushing forward. We're going to do 3 more that we did before. Slow sinking forward. 3. 2. 1. And we're here for a few more breaths. So maybe push hands inside. You could even scoot blocks just slightly behind the hips so that you can rest your hands on something. Switch. Arching back. Beautiful. From here, we're like a half split. So hands can drop to the floor, drop once, The left leg comes back behind us. It's hovering. The right knee can be lifted or lowered. This time we're just lowering down to the belly. Stay on the ground. Sphinx pose. Elbows slide underneath us. Hands drag toward us without actually moving so that the belly is pulled forward into the belt. Pull the left tendon and then the right. So right is in front. Walk each hand off its side as far as it'll go. Make sure you're in a shoulder stretch. If you're not, bump the elbows forward another inch. And then kind of tuck the chin before you rest it down so you've got lots of space to breathe. The elbows closer to Sphinx. Pull the heart through. Left hand swivels into Pavasa. Right hand grabs right toes. Quad stretch. In. If it's pretty easy, you can also square the shoulders forward to get a little. Right arm relaxes down. That one pops us up. Switch. Left. Big square shoulders. Hands on under shoulders. Big cobra or full cobra. Child's pose or down. Preferred step walk with one foot up. Up the hands to the outside of the right foot. The right knee bends a little bit. And stretch through outer left leg. And that's up to the outside. Left knee is a little bent. Back forward. I'll rise. Exhale down all the way back. Half split. Push down, left foot slides back, lower the knee. Push forward, grab strap again. 3 more seconds. Make sure you're in the depth of the stretch. If you ever need to shorten or lengthen the distance. If you're just a little longer, both thighs are fine. Blocks. And reach all the way up. Half split. Right leg swings back, hovering. Left knee is lifted or lowered, or to belly. again, elbows underneath. This time, right hand swivels in and then left. Walk the hands back off each side of the mat. You need to bump the elbows forward before resting the chin. That's a good opportunity. The additional stretch. Let's walk in. Plant the hands on your shoulders. Cobra or full cobra. Child pose or down. Forward, so bend the knees. Walk your jump up top. The floor is pretty easy to reach. Maybe you're warmed up to the point where you can step up on a block. Have that additional opportunity to reach for the ground. If you think you can safely rise up standing on the block, that's fine. If not, take off the block first. And bend the knees, roll the spine up, circle the arms to the very last point. Circle hard. Step behind. Lift up, ball up right foot onto the block. The left foot, the leg can be slightly bent or straight, whatever's helpful. We're bowing forward into a calf stretch. So maybe hands to shins, hands to the other block, hands to floor, whatever works. Slightly bend the knees, roll the spine up. And switch it out. Left ball foot up. Staying bowing forward. Grab both blocks, rise up. Take a fierce pose, so big toes close, heels slightly separated, balancing the blocks forward. Use up a past big toes. Elbow under a little. Here, okay. 4, 2, 1. Straighten left leg, pull the knee. That leg kicks forward. 2, 1. We're going to try to take a warrior 3. The blocks need to swivel in, extend out for an air version. Uncircle the blocks, landing warrior 1. Arms still, the blocks still in the palms, lift up just to that reflection of the wrist. Good. Open up to warrior 2. From here, blocks slide close and extend back out. 10. Really warm up the shoulders. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. Flap the blocks together in front of you. Lift that up overhead. Then tilt forward a little bit with the torso. Slight challenge for the core. And open back out. Separate the blocks. You can grab onto the small hands. Circle down into half moon. You set the right block down. Start to square the hips down, heading to standing split. Maybe hands stay on the blocks, maybe you switch to the floor, or even balance, trying to grab behind that left calf ankle. Here, softly land the back toes. Drop down to the back knee. Another brief inhale, crescent. And from here, dropping hands to the floor. Extend the front leg forward, half split. This one we have an option to go further if you want. So blocks could be helpful if you're wanting to head towards splits. Maybe you keep the blocks under the hands. Or sometimes you'll get to the point where you can slide a block under the thigh and sit on it. So if you want to use the block in any of these ways, go ahead. Set it up in a sustainable way. Be here for a time. Transition this into a pigeon pose with that front leg. So take weight back as much as you need to. But swivel on the right side. Chin. Lower to elbows. Planting. Drop your weight onto the left hip. The right leg swings all the way around to plant on the outside of the thigh. Posture's tall. Put the right hand or the right elbow around the knee. And lift up. Turning forward, if a knee stack is comfortable, swivel the feet. From here, we're going to try for the hand clasp. So if you don't need a strap, just clasp. It's going to be right hand up, left hand down. If not, the strap is absolutely fine. We're going to walk fingertips close together as you can. Once you're there, the top elbow is trying to point up as much as possible, bottom elbow down. Head pushes back into the arm. Stay here for a time. Right tricep stretch, left elbow. Stay here, it's fine. Want to tilt forward, that increases the arm stretch. So if at any point you wish to release the arms and just stretch, that's also forward. Rise up. Strap off to the side. Swing the legs behind. Chaturanga. Forward all the way to belly and release. The right elbow takes a 90-degree angle off that right side. Right cheek is down. Press into the left hand. Maybe the hips stack. Maybe the top leg plants behind you. You're just going as far as you need to stretch through this part of the right shoulder. Drop the hips back to floor. Left elbow slides out. Left cheek is down. Same thing. Maybe hip lift. Maybe top leg plants behind. Down, hands on your shoulders, child pose. The hands off the left side of the mat. Hands off the right side. To the middle, downward facing dog. Up the mat. You can reach to the blocks, grab them with your hands, and rest. Set them up like a platter. Big toes close till slightly separated. Yes. Two. One. Straight right leg, float left. Then forward. 2. 1. Circle in. Send back your arms. 1, 3. On the circle, warrior 1, soft land. And up warrior 2. In and out. Yeah, it's okay, take your time. So here's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Clap the blocks together. Lift them up overhead. Tilt forward. Yeah, that way. Beautiful. Torso up. Grab on the bottom of the blocks. Open out warrior 2. Cartwheel to half moon. In the left block, square the hips down. Try to lift the left leg as high as possible. Split. Softly lower left leg far back, lower that knee. Front leg start to scoot forward. Half split or any amount toward full splits. Back if you need to head to pigeon. Pigeon. Right up to the floor. Circle left leg all the way around. Right hand or right elbow hooks. Straighten the spine up. Twist. Turning forward, knee stack as long as it's like good. This time will be left arm up, right arm under. Next with that. You're the opposite of me. This is my tight side. So top level feet up, head back into it. So you can face difficult, start forward, or always know you can release the arms at any point, shift it. Rising up, release the legs. Just easy cross leg, clasp hands behind back. Take hands to right hip or right waist. Drop right ear to right shoulder. Head up, hands to left hip or left waist. Left ear to left shoulder. Head up. We'll wrap up with a restorative stretch for hamstrings and neck. So take your strap, create a loop. really large loop to start with, and sometimes we need to tighten things on what's. Lay back, right foot in one end of the loop, back of head in the other end. So the idea is it's like a hammock. It pulls the back of the neck in the shirt and the hamstring. So if you're here, yeah, make sure the bezel is not on your head. That makes it uncomfortable. But if you're here and you want more, that's when you start to tighten the loop and then reset it. Get to the point where it's just enough stretch for you to relax in it while receiving a good stretch. Yeah, there's kind of one spot of the head that works. It'll slip off if it's too low or too high. You want more, left leg extends forward. And just some good, easy breaths here for a little while. Prepare to switch, so support the head, step left foot in and right foot drops down. Release, same quality, easy long breaths. Ease the strap down, just dropping directly into Shavasana. If the low back is uncomfortable, you can bring the feet to plant, knees fall into one another. Otherwise, just enjoy our Shavasana. With our focus on joy, the sweet rather than the sour, perhaps you imagine that joy is something outside of us that we can breathe in. So imagine what color joy is. And as we're heading deep into Shavasana, imagine you're breathing that color into your lungs. And eventually, the color starts to percolate all over the body. Until by the end of Shavasana, we are totally and completely full of joy. Just simply breathe in and out. That's all it takes. Inhales and exhales. So movements that body, toes especially. Wrists, hips. Not in ways that feel really good. Eventually head over to a comfortable fetal position. Just enjoy a few bonus breaths here. Maybe 4 or 5 good long breaths. We raise up to a comfortable space. With hands at the heart, we reconnect to joy, and we recognize life will give us challenges, lemons. And what if we take that as kind of a question? Is this an opportunity for me to try to make lemonade? How can we use our creativity to try to transform those situations? So with this idea to help lead us on, let's wrap up the time that we got to share together with the sound of oh, deep inhale now. Oh. Be filled with light, happiness. Namaste.